Have you ever noticed a man looking at you in a way that makes your heart skip a beat, but you can't quite put your finger on why? You know, the kind of glance that lingers just a second too long, the kind that feels electric, almost like he's trying to tell you something without saying a word. Today, I want to talk about exactly that, the subtle, sometimes unconscious ways a man reveals he is sexually attracted to you. And the fascinating part is once you start noticing them, you'll never look at interactions the same way again. The first thing to watch for is eye contact, but not just casual glances, real penetrating eye contact. When a man's gaze holds your attention, when his eyes flicker to your lips and back to your eyes, it's rarely accidental. This is the body saying what words haven't caught up to yet. As the psychologist John Gottman notes, the eyes are one of the first ways humans communicate desire. Next, pay attention to proximity and subtle physical cues. Is he leaning in just a little closer than seems necessary? Are his shoulders turned toward you even in a crowded room? These unconscious movements reveal his focus and interest. It's not about being overt or invasive. It's about the body naturally orienting itself toward what it wants. Then there's mirroring, an almost magical way we subconsciously connect with someone we find attractive. If you notice him mimicking your gestures, your tone, even the pace at which you speak, it's a powerful indicator of subconscious attraction. Social scientists call this behavioral synchrony, and it's one of the strongest non-verbal signals that someone feels chemistry. Words matter too. Listen for subtle compliments, teasing, or questions that go deeper than surface level conversation. He might ask about your weekend plans or your passions, not out of curiosity alone, but because he's mentally imagining a life where he's part of those moments. Attraction often manifests in the questions someone asks rather than the answers they give. Don't confuse friendliness with sexual interest, though. There's a difference between casual attention and the kind that makes your pulse quicken. Sexual attraction often carries intensity. You feel it in the air, in the way someone reacts to your presence, in the small, almost imperceptible ways they seek connection. Finally, trust your intuition. You don't have to dissect every smile or every movement. If something feels charged, if the energy between you shifts when he's around, that's usually your subconscious reading the signs before your conscious mind catches up. Books like The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene explore these dynamics, highlighting how subtle cues speak louder than words. The truth is, attraction is rarely verbalized in its earliest stages. It's in the glance that lingers, the tiny gestures, the subtle mirroring. And once you start noticing, you begin to see the patterns, the silent language of desire that people use every day without even realizing it. So the next time you catch a man behaving just a little differently around you, leaning in, matching your movements, holding your gaze, or asking questions that reveal a deeper curiosity, pay attention. That's not just politeness. That's attraction. That's the human body and mind telling you without words that he's drawn to you in a way that goes beyond friendship. Have you ever caught yourself noticing someone in a crowded room and yet you weren't sure why you felt that pull toward them? Sometimes attraction doesn't come from what a person says. It comes from what their body says before words even exist. Body language is like a secret code, a silent language that reveals desire in ways that most people completely overlook. When a man is sexually attracted to you, it often shows itself in the tiniest movements, the ones so subtle that you might think you imagined them, but your body knows the truth. One of the first things to notice is posture. It's not about standing tall for the sake of looking confident, though that helps, but about the way his body naturally orients toward you. When a man leans in even slightly, when his shoulders angle in your direction, or when he positions himself so that he's always facing you, these are all unconscious signals of focus and interest. It's fascinating because the body doesn't lie. Even if his words are casual, even if he's trying to be polite, his body will betray the attraction that he may not even realize he's feeling. Another telltale sign is micro-expressions, the fleeting glimpses of emotion that cross the face in an instant. A flash of a smile when your eyes meet, a raised eyebrow, a quick intake of breath. These tiny moments reveal what words cannot. Psychologists have long studied these subtle cues, noting that they often communicate desire before we even process it consciously. If you pay attention, you start to see patterns, the way he tilts his head when you speak, the slight flare of his nostrils when you laugh, the way his pupils dilate just a little more than usual. These are all involuntary responses that speak volumes about what he's feeling. Even gestures carry hidden meaning. Watch how he uses his hands, how he touches objects around him, or even how he fidgets. Nervous energy, when paired with focused attention on you, often signals attraction. There's a reason why people play with their hair or subtly adjust their clothing when they are interested. It's the body's way of trying to appear more appealing without even thinking about it. It's a dance of intention and instinct, a language spoken without sound. And then there's space, the invisible perimeter we carry around us. When a man is attracted to you, he may unconsciously try to minimize that space. He leans closer, subtly closes the gap between you, or angles himself so that he's never quite apart. And yet it's never aggressive. It's a gentle magnetic pull like gravity drawing him closer without a word. At the same time, he respects your boundaries, which makes these small gestures even more telling. What's most powerful about body language is how instinctive it is. People can lie with their words, but the body speaks the truth. When you learn to observe, you start to notice these tiny clues everywhere: the tilt of a shoulder, the alignment of the feet, the intensity of a gaze. And once you do, you begin to see how attraction is being communicated all around you silently, subtly, beautifully, long before any conversation even begins. Have you ever noticed how a single look can make your heart skip a beat? Even before a word is spoken, eye contact isn't just about seeing someone, it's about connecting on a level that bypasses logic and goes straight to instinct. When a man is sexually attracted to you, his eyes will often reveal more than his words ever could. There's a reason they say the eyes are the windows to the soul, because through them, desire, curiosity, and attention leak out in ways we can't easily control. The first thing to notice is the duration of the gaze. Most people glance casually at someone they're speaking to, barely holding your eyes for a second or two before looking away. But when a man is attracted, he tends to hold your gaze a little longer, just enough for it to feel noticeable, but not so long that it becomes awkward. That split-second extra connection is his mind and body saying, I want to see more of you. I'm focused on you. It's subtle yet powerful because it communicates interest without words, bypassing rational thought and going straight to emotion. Then there's the intensity of the gaze. Sexual attraction changes the way a person looks at someone else. You'll notice a slightly dilated pupil, a sparkle in the eye, or even just a softer, more attentive expression. He's not looking at you the way he looks at a friend or a colleague. There's focus, there's intent, and it's magnetic. This intensity is often accompanied by small, involuntary gestures, a quick smile, a raised eyebrow, a gentle nod. These micro movements amplify the message of the eyes, making it almost impossible to ignore. Another sign is the way he alternates between looking at your eyes and your lips. You may not even consciously notice it at first, but your brain does. This subtle back and forth is a classic signal of sexual interest, a way of silently expressing curiosity about not just who you are, but the intimacy he imagines with you. It's fascinating because it happens almost instinctively, the body taking over before the mind decides to speak. Eye contact also creates tension, a kind of silent electricity that can be thrilling and disorienting at the same time. You may feel drawn to him without understanding why, because when someone is genuinely attracted, their gaze communicates anticipation, focus, and longing all at once. It's this unspoken conversation that builds chemistry, often long before any words are exchanged. The beauty of eye contact is that it's instinctive and honest. A man can lie with words. He can hide his intentions in conversation, but the eyes rarely lie. They reveal focus, attention, and desire in ways that are difficult to control. Once you learn to notice these patterns, the subtle intensities, the fleeting glances, the tiny shifts, you begin to see who is truly drawn to you. And in understanding this, you gain a powerful insight. Attraction is not just what someone says, it's what their eyes say before a single word is spoken. Have you ever been talking to someone and suddenly realized they're almost copying your movements? Maybe you crossed your legs and noticed they did the same, or you took a sip of your drink and so did they a moment later. This isn't accidental. What you're witnessing is mirroring a subtle, unconscious way humans communicate connection and, more importantly, desire. When a man is sexually attracted to you, his body often becomes a reflection of yours, almost like your energy is being bounced back at you without words. Mirroring starts small, almost imperceptibly. He might adopt the same posture as you, tilt his head the same way, or lean forward when you lean forward. Psychologists call this behavioral synchrony, and it's a natural mechanism we use to build rapport and intimacy. But in the context of attraction, it goes beyond mere friendliness. It's the body saying, I'm on your wavelength. I'm tuned into you. I want to connect with you. And because it's unconscious, it's rarely planned, it's instinctive, a hidden language of desire. It's not just about copying gestures. It's about matching energy and rhythm. If you speak slowly and he mirrors your pace, if you laugh and he laughs in a similar tone or timing, that synchronization is a clear sign of interest. Our brains respond to this kind of harmony because it creates comfort, familiarity, and a subtle sense of closeness. The more he mirrors you, the more he's demonstrating that he is not just paying attention, but is emotionally invested, even if only in small, incremental ways. What's fascinating is that mirroring often goes deeper than body language. He might start using similar words or expressions, subtly adopting your phrases in conversation. This verbal mirroring reinforces the non-verbal cues, creating an invisible thread that draws the two of you closer together. It's why some conversations feel effortlessly connected, why you feel like he gets you almost instantly, even if you've just met. Attraction is rarely accidental. It manifests in these layers of imitation and alignment, both physical and verbal. Mirroring also signals vulnerability and openness. To reflect someone else's behavior, even unconsciously, requires a degree of attentiveness and emotional resonance. He's watching, he's listening, and he's willing to engage at a level that's not just casual. That subtle willingness to sync with your presence is a powerful, unspoken form of flirting. Once you start noticing it, you begin to see how attraction is communicated quietly and effectively without a single bold move or declaration. The man who mirrors you is not just interested, he is captivated, subconsciously drawing himself closer to you in every gesture, every word, every micro expression. It's like a secret handshake between bodies, a signal of desire that feels invisible but is unmistakably there. Have you ever noticed that some conversations just feel different, almost electric, even if nothing is being said that screams, "I like you"? That's because attraction often speaks in a hidden language, a verbal code that doesn't need bold confessions. When a man is sexually attracted to you, the way he talks to you, the questions he asks, and even the way he responds reveals more than you might realize. Words are powerful, but in the context of desire, it's the subtlety in his speech that matters most. The first thing to pay attention to is the questions he asks. When a man is genuinely attracted, he isn't just making small talk, he's digging deeper. He wants to know about your passions, your dreams, the things that make you light up. And notice this, these questions aren't random. They are tailored to who you are, to the parts of yourself that you value. He's mentally imagining what it would be like to be part of your life, and the questions are a window into that curiosity. It's subtle, but it's telling. Then there's the way he listens. Attraction isn't just about talking, it's about giving you undivided attention. Does he respond thoughtfully, remembering little details you mentioned before? Does he build on your stories, showing that he's not just hearing you, but actively absorbing what you say? That's one of the most overlooked signs of desire. Someone who is captivated by you engages with your words on a deeper level because your thoughts, your ideas, even your laughter are magnetic to him. Verbal cues also show up in playful teasing. Light, good-natured teasing often indicates interest because it's a way of creating intimacy while testing boundaries. If he jokes in a way that's flirty, that acknowledges your personality and makes you smile, it's not just humor, it's an attempt to connect on a level beyond friendship. It's his way of saying, without saying, "I notice you, I'm intrigued, I'm drawn to you." Watch for tone and pacing as well. The way someone modulates their voice can convey attraction far more subtly than the words themselves. A slightly softer tone, a little more laughter, a pause that signals attentiveness. All of these are verbal signals that he's emotionally invested. These cues work alongside body language to create a complete picture of desire, one that's often subconscious but unmistakable once you start noticing it. And finally, notice consistency. Someone who is interested doesn't just show these verbal signals once or twice. They appear repeatedly, woven throughout the conversation, the depth, the curiosity, the playful back and forth. It's a pattern that signals attraction long before any overt declaration is made. Words, when combined with intent, tone, and attentiveness, become one of the clearest markers of interest. Attraction isn't always about grand gestures or bold confessions. Sometimes it's the small, careful ways a man communicates, the questions he asks, the way he listens, the subtle teasing, and the tone of his voice. These verbal cues are like a hidden map, guiding you toward understanding not just what he says, but what he feels, often before he even realizes it himself. Have you ever wondered why some attention feels electric while other attention feels safe and neutral? The difference between friendly attention and sexual attraction can be subtle, but it's critical to notice because it changes the entire dynamic. Friendship and politeness often look similar on the surface. He smiles, he laughs at your jokes, he seems engaged. But sexual attraction carries attention, a focus and energy that you feel in your body before you even consciously recognize it. One of the clearest signs is intensity. Friendly attention is light, easy, and relaxed. Sexual attraction, however, comes with a heightened sense of focus. You might notice that his gaze lingers just a little longer than normal, that he leans in when you speak, or that his entire body seems to orient toward you. Even if he's standing across the room, his attention zeroes in on you in a way that is hard to ignore. This focus isn't just curiosity, it's a magnetic pull, a signal that he wants to engage with you on a level that goes beyond casual conversation. Another difference is the way he reacts to your presence. Friendly attention is often predictable and evenly distributed. But sexual attraction carries unpredictability, little sparks of energy that make your interactions feel alive. He might tease you playfully, smile with a certain warmth, or subtly test boundaries to see how you respond. These micro moments create tension and excitement, and they feel different from the comfort and consistency of a platonic friendship. The energy is dynamic, alive, and unmistakably charged. Pay attention to the way he listens and responds. In friendship, listening is polite and engaged, but often surface level. When sexual attraction is present, his listening becomes intentional and immersive. He remembers details about you that you didn't even realize you shared, recalls small stories or preferences, and integrates them naturally into future conversations. This shows he's not just hearing you, he's internalizing you, thinking about you in ways that friendship rarely inspires. Physical cues also differentiate sexual interest from friendliness. Touch, proximity, and subtle body movements become more meaningful. He might mirror your gestures, lightly brush against your arm, or find excuses to be closer, all while respecting boundaries. These unconscious movements reveal desire in a way that words can't. Friendly gestures are usually casual and functional. Sexual gestures carry an intent and magnetism that feel almost electric. Finally, trust your intuition. Sometimes you feel it before you can articulate it. The energy between you shifts, and there's a tension, a spark that simply isn't present in platonic interactions. Sexual attraction creates a rhythm and intensity that friendship rarely does. By paying attention to these nuances, the gaze, the energy, the listening, the physical alignment, you begin to distinguish when someone is drawn to you sexually rather than just enjoying your company. Understanding the difference between friendly attention and sexual attraction gives you clarity, confidence, and insight. It allows you to navigate relationships with awareness, noticing not just the surface level behaviors, but the underlying energy that defines true desire. Have you ever walked away from an interaction with a feeling you couldn't quite explain? A sense that someone was more interested than they let on, even if nothing overt had happened. That feeling is your intuition speaking. And when it comes to reading sexual attraction, it is one of the most reliable guides you have. Our subconscious picks up on cues, micro expressions, subtle gestures, tone of voice, body orientation, long before our conscious mind processes them. Learning to trust that inner signal can give you clarity in situations where words alone might confuse you. Intuition often shows up as a physical response. You might feel a quickening in your pulse, a flutter in your stomach, or a heightened awareness when someone enters your space. These sensations aren't random. They're your body's way of registering energy and attraction. A man may not say, "I'm attracted to you," but your body senses the magnetic pull before words or actions catch up. Over time, by tuning into these feelings, you start to recognize patterns, understanding who is genuinely interested and who is simply being friendly. Another way intuition speaks is through emotional resonance. You feel it in the energy of the interaction, the way your presence affects him, and the way his presence affects you. When a man is sexually attracted, there's an unconscious tension, a spark in the air, a subtle push and pull that makes your attention linger. Your mind may rationalize it, but your instincts are already decoding the signals, the prolonged eye contact, the mirroring, the focused listening, the playful teasing. Intuition ties all of these threads together, creating a holistic understanding that words alone could never convey. Learning to trust your gut also means listening to patterns over time. One fleeting gesture might be ambiguous, but a series of subtle signals, his gaze, his mirroring, his verbal cues, combined with how you feel in his presence, builds a picture that is hard to ignore. Intuition helps you read the full spectrum of attraction, not just the individual signs, and it allows you to act with awareness rather than guesswork. It's important to recognize that intuition is rarely about control or manipulation. It's about awareness. It gives you insight into human behavior, letting you understand what's really happening beneath the surface. When you pay attention to your instincts, you notice the subtle language of attraction, the micro gestures, the shifts in energy, the way someone's attention always returns to you. You start to see not just what is being said, but what is being felt, and that awareness is invaluable in understanding attraction. In the end, trusting your intuition is about confidence and clarity. It's about believing the signals your body and mind pick up on and using them to navigate interactions with insight. The more you tune into that inner guidance, the more easily you recognize attraction before it becomes obvious or overt. Your instincts are always ahead of your conscious mind. They're your personal radar, quietly and consistently picking up on desire long before words, gestures, or actions fully reveal it.